Hi, I'm Campbell and welcome to Wind Up Wine Hacks. This episode is a guide to wine pricing. One of our top 3 tips is that if you spend a little bit more on a bottle of wine, you get an awful lot more wine for your money. And today we're going to explore that in a lot more detail. So if you take a £5 bottle of wine as an example, you've got fixed costs associated with duty, packaging and logistics. In other words, what it takes to buy a bottle, get it in the bottle, ship it to your country, and you pay your import duty on it. Basically call that £3. And that is true across all price points of wine. With the other figures, I've done a little bit of rounding just to make it easier to understand, but basically the breakpoints work. At £5, you're talking about £1.50 of VAT and retailer margin, and that means that you've only got 50 pence left over for the wine. That's what goes to the winemaker. That's not an awful lot to play with. If you go up to £7, then the margin in VAT goes up to maybe about £2.50, meaning you've got £1.50 left for the wine. And that's 3 times more. So you've only spent £2 and you've gained 3 times more wine for your money. If you go up to £10, now you've got £3 going to the wine, which is 6 times more than the £5 bottle for twice the price. At £15, it's £5, so you're getting 10 times more wine. At a £20 bottle of wine, you've got £7 going to the wine, which is 14 times more. So as you can clearly see here, as you step up, you're getting an awful lot more wine for your money at each and every stage. But once you get to that higher end even of this scale, and certainly beyond, you get the law of diminishing returns. Right, so now we're going to do wine and maths fun, because wine isn't geeky enough on its own. Let's add some more numbers to it and explore that law of diminishing returns in a little bit more detail. So when you go from £5 to £7, you're getting an increase of 200% more wine than the £5 bottle for £2 more. When you go from 7 to 10, you're getting 100% more wine for £3. When you go from 10 to 15, you're getting 67% more wine for £5, and 15 to 20, you're getting 40% more for £5 more again. So as you look at those side by side, you start to see quite clearly that the effect of spending a bit more, £3, £5, it kind of tails off. So the biggest chunk of all, where you get the hugest improvement, is 200% more wine for £2 between £5 and £7. So if you do nothing else, we'd really encourage you to explore that £5 to £7 gap, because that's where you get that 200% increase for only £2. You're never at any stage of the sort of wine pricing scale ever going to get that much more upside for that little bit more money. And if you've ever wondered why, gosh, this wine that's only a few quid more costs so much, or tastes so much better, that's exactly why. And that's why we really say that our sweet spot is sort of £7 to £15 before law of diminishing returns starts to kick in. And actually, we talk about the great quality leap. And the great quality leap, as far as Wind Up Club is concerned, is 5 up to 15. At that level, you're getting 900% more wine for 200% more money. That's a really big gap. That's why you're getting a huge increase in quality that you're simply not going to see anywhere else. That will catapult you into a much, much higher standard of wine, much, much higher standard of wine making, because it's in the producer's interests to really ratchet up the quality, because he's or she's getting the return from you, the consumer. Once you get above, let's call it £20, everything starts to get murky. A whole host of other factors start to come into play, and only half of them actually relate to the quality of the wine. So if we look at that more closely, at that £20 plus, you've got things like rarity and exclusivity, you've got brand and prestige. You've got very specialist importers and retailers who aren't selling that many bottles. So again, the price has to reflect those dynamics. And because of the nature of wine at that more high level, you're dealing with low yields, low volumes, probably more expensive, more manual, more people-centric processes, selecting grapes. You're perhaps farming in difficult areas or expensive areas. You know, you need a far, far higher level of expertise potentially to bring that wine to you. And if you've ever wondered why, you know, that £30 bottle of wine frankly disappointed you compared to a £20 bottle of wine, or if you've ever tasted a £50 bottle of wine versus, again, 30 or even 40, you really can't tell too much difference. It's because there's a whole host of other factors in play that we're going to try and work through some of those things on a wine and region by wine and region basis here on WinedUp, that you're never going to get more for £10 than, say, going from 5 to 15. You'll notice a difference. It will be profound, whereas it might well be the case that going from £20 to £30, you might not even notice any increase in quality because there might not even be any increase in quality, but there's a whole host of other factors that mean that one wine's £20, one wine's £30, but the quality is the same. But that's why for most people, for everyday drinking, if you just stretch it up a little bit, start from 5 and go up to 7, then go up to 10 and see what a difference that makes. Follow our recommendations for everyday wines from the supermarket and from the high street, and try different things, try different grapes. We think you'll get an awful lot more out of exploring your wine world. So that's it for today's episode. Lots of detail, lots of maths. Again, a little bit more detail underneath the video. You can have a look at the graphs and the details in a bit more detail if you wish to. And don't forget, don't get wound up, get wined up.